Play fake. Beathard sets up deep in the pocket. Goes down the field for Smith.
Has some time. Right corner of the end zone. Touchdown!
Steps up, does it. Pass is caught. That'll move the sticks. Tyrone Tracy. There he goes. Tracy. Towards the end zone for the Iowa touchdown.
Broadcasting for the Big Ten breakfast. I hope you've got your fill already because it's a light meal today in the Big Ten world. Making a couple of white guys wonder why we even podcast in the first place. I am Corey Hussing here with Rule the Dance. You know what? That's not fair because I know your Nebraska boys are coming off their bye. There's been all of this fucking promotional BS going on. You're getting them all pumped up. You're pumped up. You're ready for week 9.
We're fired up.
It's
homecoming in Nebraska. Rule the dance, baby. Get your beautiful girl and just, hands on shoulders, 6 inches apart.
Is this the last week for buys, or do they run through the rest of the season? I'm curious because we got 4 teams on bye this week. We got Iowa on a bye, Michigan on a bye, Rutgers on a bye, and Illinois on a bye. So,
Michigan's on a bye, but there's tickets at multiple games, so they'll be busy.
We'll get into that. That's some juicy. You know what? I'm disappointed. Shane can't be here for the morning show. He's off saving lives or giving CPR to a MILF, and and we're here broadcasting Big Ten sports. But that being said, I am going to trash all over Michigan today, and I'll save some more for post game if Shane joins us. But this is quite the controversy. But first, let's do a quick rundown of what's going on in the Big Ten today. Starting at noon, we have Indiana at Penn State, boring. Maryland at Northwestern, probably boring. And then the 3:30 games, Michigan State at Minnesota, not boring because it's 2 crappy teams playing against each other, and those are always gold games. Purdue at Nebraska. I mean, boring or not boring, May?
Not boring.
Okay. And
we need this game. Nebraska needs it.
Ohio State at Wisconsin, boring or not boring?
That's going to be good. That one.
Really?
Yeah.
You think Wisconsin's going to put up a fight against Ohio State?
Yeah. You know what I found when I was doing the little numbers, all kickoffs are going to be Big Ten kind of weather, 40-degree kickoffs.
Yep. It's cold out here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yesterday was our first 20-degree day.
Ooh.
Yeah. Bit the nose hairs a little bit. If you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So reminds me of why I love Sioux Nation so much. All right.
It's time to get next to your partner and cuddle at night.
It's football weather. No, it's time to break some bones out on that field. It's time to create some life-changing injuries. It's time for the real men to show up. That's what I'm saying. The real men to show up because this flash and dash and razzle dazzle goes away in crappy weather.
This is usually where Ohio State likes to piss themselves.
That's true. That is true. Ooh, that's interesting. Okay. All right. So let's do a rundown of the game, shall we?
Yep.
All right. So let's start off with Ohio State, Wisconsin. What is what's the stat line for that, bud?
It's they have Ohio State favored minus 14.5.
Mm,
The over under is 46.5.
46.5. They think Ohio State's going to score that many points, huh?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay. What are you taking for this one? Big
I'm
dog.
going to take Wisconsin to cover, but Ohio State to win.
Wisconsin to cover 14.5, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, buddy. I think we watched Ohio State become galvanized as a unit last week against Penn State, and they are going to roll Wisconsin. They're going to roll them hard.
Really?
Yeah, at least by 20 points. At least by 20 points. Wisconsin is going to look. They have a, no offense, but they have a child at quarterback right now, and they've got no offense. And Penn State, who scored 31 points against Iowa, looked like they had no offense against Ohio State. And I think Ohio State's going to come out and just destroy Wisconsin. So
So you have Ohio
Ohio
State.
State for everything. Yep, for sure. Listen,
Okay.
this is where I make my comeback. The
Yeah.
last part, I keep saying that. This
Shane
part,
didn't send in his picks, but okay. He's got time.
I got that. Okay. All right. Let's go. Anything else you want to say about this? I mean, we all know about Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
It's just over and over again. I mean, can I just be honest? I don't think he's that great. Am I wrong saying that?
Yeah, maybe.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's good. I don't think he's going to be as good as Daddy was, but he's good. He's good.
I
It's just
watched
tough.
him against Penn State, and what's he going to do when a cornerback actually challenges him?
Yeah, They say
Well,
that's
I
going to
want to
be
see
what it takes. What 4 years usually? I
for
mean,
cornerbacks to develop into their own.
well, the wide receivers to catch on to that NFL game, but like
Oh
there
yeah,
have
yeah.
been, Jamar Chase, Justin. There have
I don't
been
think he's one of those. I think it's going to
people.
take time
Yeah,
for him to adjust. I
yeah.
just think like he's had it way too cushy this season, and everyone has, and maybe rightfully so. I don't know. I haven't seen anyone really challenge him up close, and man, it's been this
Well, there hasn't
12-yard
been.
cushion.
Yeah, there hasn't been that dominant Big Ten secondary player like there has been in the past. Like everyone is kind of just okay, like Illinois had that got drafted in the first round. Like there's usually been like Joey Porter at Penn State last year. There's been like NFL type first round pick corners. This year I haven't really seen it. And so he's just been 10 catches here, 8 catches here, 10 catches here. You know what I mean? He's just been eating up that
Oh, I
that
haven't.
scared coverage of
Yeah,
because like you said, everyone's giving him 10 to 15
He's
yards.
taking what they're giving him for
Yeah.
sure, and he makes the most of it. But like I want to see this kid challenged.
Yeah.
They're talking Heisman winner for this kid. But who's challenging him? What great cornerback? I mean, I even think Michigan has a great. I mean, do they have a great cornerback core that is really going to challenge him, or are they going to give him sort of that same type of movement distance?
They'll probably just bracket cover him like everyone else has
Mhm,
tried to.
mhm.
So,
Yeah. And so, and then once he gets into the NFL, he's going to, like you said, it's going to be at least 4 years. I don't see him just popping off like Pitts for the Falcons. He popped off, but he's a big boy.
yeah.
That guy's a big guy.
Well, and he had a good rookie year, and then he kind of disappeared. Now he's coming back, Kyle Pitts. But yeah, I mean, he's also that tweener type. He's wide receiver tight end.
Tight end, yeah. I just haven't seen like a slender wide receiver just take over the NFL for quite some time. But he's good in college. I'll give him that. I mean, he makes what they give him. But I think we probably won't see anyone challenge him until Michigan.
No.
And even then, I don't know if Michigan's going to challenge him.
Yeah, like people were comparing him to like Justin Jefferson. I don't know if Marvin is quite Justin Jefferson.
Oh man, that's quite the comparison.
Yeah,
He's a route runner for sure. He's a good route runner.
Yeah, Well, and he got that from his dad, you
Yep.
know, so.
Yep.
But,
And good route runners are the most important thing that you can have as a
yeah,
quarterback out there on the field. A guy that you know is going to be exactly where he says he's going to
yep,
be.
100%.
That's huge. When you tell him to take a slant and they could run 5 yards and then, like he reads the field well in his position.
Yeah.
But what's he going to do when he gets a guy just as fast and tall as him,
Mhm.
pushing him around? Like, are we going to see him fight for the ball? Because that's sort of the thing. Like, and maybe this is just my perspective on it, but I mean, he doesn't feel like, he's willing to get down in the trenches for anyone, you
Yeah.
know, and maybe that's
And that
wrong.
could just be him saving himself,
Right. Right.
and,
But there's,
we don't
there's
know.
got to be a competitive edge a little bit. You want to see a little rise. Maybe we'll see it. We don't know. Once he's challenged, though, it'll be interesting to see his response.
Yep.
Probably, I don't know, man. Let's. No, we can't talk about Michigan yet. Can't talk about Michigan yet. All right.
You want to just do our picks?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
keep going?
Yep. We'll do next. We'll do Purdue at Nebraska.
Mhm.
What is that? What's that?
Yes. Now I got all these numbers off of ESPN, so I don't. But they have Nebraska -1. The over under 39.5. This game, they say the weather is supposed to be just dog shit in Lincoln. So, windy, cold. They don't think it's going to be. They think it's just going to be a bunch of running. Um, Nebraska's lost. I think they've had 18 fumbles on the year and lost 7 or 8, and Purdue has had like 14 and lost 5. So if it comes to the ground, these backs are going to have to hold on to the football.
We know what the weather is in Lincoln, Nebraska right now.
Right now, it is. Give me a moment.
That's all right. I'm just looking at, what I've seen a lot of people picking Purdue for this game. A lot of people picking Purdue.
It could be a trap game for Nebraska for sure.
I just don't understand how it's a trap game for Nebraska coming off a bye.
They didn't come off a bye.
Oh, that's right. Why do I keep thinking they came off a bye last week?
We played Northwestern.
That's
right. Our bye was at or before Northwestern.
Right. I have completely blanked out last week.
It's 30 degrees in Lincoln right now.
Yeah.
With a high of 39.
This is and I bet it's going to be windy there too.
Kickoff is at 2:30 and it's going to be 39 degrees.
Now, I think this favors Wisconsin because their defense rules the day, rules the dance.
What do you mean Wisconsin?
Not Wisconsin, Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Yeah, Nebraska. I think it favors Nebraska's defense.
I agree.
So I don't know, man. I want to take Purdue so bad, but
it's all about quarterbacks too, because
who's QBing for you guys today?
Harburg, he got the start coming out of the bye, full-time starter now. So, but he did not look good against Northwestern. I mean,
if he doesn't look good first half against Purdue, do we see a return of Sims?
No, I don't think, unless he bagged three picks and a fumble, then possibly, yeah. But if it's just sloppy, low percentage, completion rate, no turnovers, then they'll just ride Harburg. But I don't know what it would take to see Sims back on the field, because I think they want to ride Harburg.
You have a real issue with his throwing.
I do, yeah.
And so that's why, I mean, are you sort of rooting? Because at first you were rooting for Harburg.
Yeah, I love Harburg. I've been wanting Harburg since he enrolled. But that was I saw him in spring, watched his highlight stuff in high school, and he was just a big dominant force. But I didn't realize he throws the ball just he's such a big person, and he throws the ball with such a little side motion. It just, I always say it. It's he's 6'4", 6'5", and he throws like he's 5'8". Like it just doesn't make any sense. Like, and they say they can't fix it. You know what I mean? Like they're not gonna mess with it. And it's like you're that big, and you just throw from such a weird angle, slot angle. Like you're gonna have to really window dress it to complete it if you're not gonna adapt and at least give me something. You don't even have to go over the top all the time, but like, give me something around your head, not fucking, by your chin. That just doesn't make any sense to me. But
there have been one. So I'm looking at individual player all game highs, or not all game, but for totals. And Purdue, Markevius Brown has 7 forced fumbles going into this game. I mean, are you worried about turnovers this game?
I'm worried about our running backs because Anthony
You have
Grant,
to establish the run.
Yeah, we do. And we're down 3 offensive linemen. Yeah. And Anthony Grant has fumbling issues. Emmett Johnson is still getting his legs under him. It's going to be interesting.
I'm looking at the stats for Purdue, and they're top 4 in a lot of this, pass interceptions. Offense is, they're, top 5 in offense for pass completion, passing yards.
This game will be 7-3. I won't be surprised.
Ooh, that's interesting. So I take it you're picking Nebraska.
Yes.
Okay. I'm probably going to pick Nebraska just off of the basis. I'll pick Nebraska for everything because it's, you have to. Just because they're home. And they've had, this fucking hype train going on.
We need
this win.
This would be the first time. I don't know. I should have wrote it down, but this would be the first. If we get this win, we go 5-3. This would be the first time in a hot minute we've been in the positive.
What's your record right now?
We're 4-3.
4-3. You're on a 2-game win streak. So
yeah,
making it. Yeah, that's a big game for you guys.
I mean, if we win this, and then we win this, and all we literally have to squeak out is a win against Michigan State, Maryland, Wisconsin, or Iowa, just to get us bowling, and we could go to the chicken water fried goose bowl. I don't even care. I mean,
you just want to go
get us bowling.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, that's fair. All right. Let's see who else is playing right now.
We could go Maryland, Northwestern, Michigan State, Minnesota, or Indiana.
Michigan State and Minnesota. That's next. Yeah. What's going on?
Minnesota -6.5, over under 41.5.
I am picking Michigan State for everything.
Really?
Yeah.
What have you seen out of Michigan State to? Or you just take PJ?
I'll tell you what I saw out of Minnesota. That was jack shit. So, and we barely beat Michigan State. So Michigan State's at least got an offense. So, and I think, they're coming down off of this win. I don't think PJ Fleck's emotional state of mind was healthy this week for practice. So I think he's going to, who sits out there in a field taking in a win at Kinnick? Huh? Define Kinnick magic. What witchcraft is he practicing up there in Minnesota? It's disgusting. And I hope.
You think any of the kids at the hospital were waving at him? Like, get off our field. Or is that too much?
It wasn't too much. It's just, still too soon. It's still too soon.
That's tough because I don't know where to go in this one because we both need Minnesota to lose. and we both hate Minnesota. Michigan State is just a dumpster fire. I mean,
Who did they play last week? Michigan State. Who did they play last week? Pull it up here.
Michigan, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. 49-0. But it's Michigan. And we will get to that soon after our picks.
I'm going to go Michigan State with you.
I brought you over. Let's go sparring. I hope PJ Fleck has many, many non-consensual flags thrown towards the Minnesota today. All right, we gotta move on. Minnesota, you disgust me.
Mm-hmm.
We got Maryland at Northwestern in a big whoop-to-what game.
What Maryland is going to show up?
The Maryland that's going to be, excuse me, Hillary Clinton moment right there. The Maryland that's going to show up is the one that is built to defeat Northwestern. Maryland is going to, Northwestern is not going to be able to keep up with Maryland's.
But if Northwestern plays just an inkle of what Illinois did against Maryland, I don't know. It's just because Northwestern has it in them to spoil something like this. You know what I mean? Like
Who has Northwestern spoiled so far?
I don't think they've spoiled anybody, but they have those games that just
right. I was just curious if they've already used that card up this season. I'm trying to think back. Didn't they beat like Minnesota or something?
Let's see. Yeah, they beat Minnesota week 1 or week whatever.
0. Yeah, that's stupid.
37-14 in overtime. They got the doors blown off of them against Penn State. They barely beat Howard. They lost to Nebraska. Oof. But Maryland lost to – Maryland is coming off of a 2-game slide. Getting housed by Ohio State, losing a close one to Illinois.
I think we see Maryland own Northwestern here. I almost think I feel like almost like Northwestern used their spoiler against Minnesota or got it out of the way early. It's going to haunt Minnesota at the end of the season when they're, it's just going to haunt them now because now they're going to be a 3-loss team going into I think they have to go into Ohio State next week. So
Maryland?
Maybe that's Wisconsin.
Maryland
not Maryland, Minnesota.
Oh.
But
Maryland's got to get this because they play Penn State next week. So, yeah. Give me Maryland, I guess, all the way.
Okay.
Is that what you're doing?
Yep, that's what I'm doing too. What was this? What was that? What was the spread on that?
-14. Yeah.
Yeah, give it to me. Yep.
Okay.
All right. And then the big noon kickoff game on CBS. Indiana at Penn State.
-31. Penn State. Over under 45.5.
Give me Penn State. Just for everything. They're coming off mad.
There's no way. I don't. Penn State, I don't know. I'll probably take this L, but I'm going to take Indiana to cover, Penn State to win.
And then for my outside the conference pick of the week, I'm picking local. I'm picking the Jackrabbits to decimate the University of South Dakota Coyotes on their way to a national championship again for year 2.
You're picking South Dakota?
South Dakota State University Jackrabbits in an interconference rivalry, number 1 versus number 4 in the country. the University of South Dakota Coyotes, who have had miraculous wins all year, but their luck runs out as the reigning national championship Jackrabbits are going to beat South Dakota. It's a little bit of drama today here in South Dakota. A little USD versus SDSU action. So it's pretty fun.
I'm trying to see where that where's that at?
I think FCS or FBS.
So you're picking South Dakota State?
Yep. I don't know. Do you have the bets on that?
I'm looking at it right now. It's at
You're-
1 o'clock on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, it's a big game. It's a big game. I forget. Yeah, what conference they're in, but they won the national championship last year.
Yeah, they have no spread or anything on this on ESPN, but you can get a ticket for $146.
I'm like 40 minutes away from where they're playing that game. I played so it's called the Dome. It's the only dome in South Dakota.
Yeah.
And we used to play football games in there all the time with my buddies, and then they had a weight gym there, and that's where I broke my record for the machine that does hip squats.
Yeah.
Right. Guess how much I did? I was 16. I think I was 16. Guess how much I did on the hip sled?
500 pounds.
1,080.
God bless.
I was ripped back then. Fucking thighs of steel.
All right, so my game is going to be, I'm going to take Arizona.
Who's
to
Arizona?
beat Oregon State.
Ooh, interesting pick. There's some good out of conference games today.
Yeah, I hope UCLA just dog walks the crap out of Colorado.
Really?
Yeah, UCLA. Yeah. So on Sirius Radio, I listen to college sports radio, and they do this cool segment. I think it's cool. They do I don't know what they call it, but they do like they do. You got to guess the cheapest ticket, and you got to guess the most expensive ticket, like for the games, and they give you a multiple choice, of the cheapest and the most expensive. And the most expensive game was that CU UCLA game.
Oh, really?
At the Rose Bowl, and they don't ever California. They much rather do a million things than go to a football game, and that was still like almost $200 a ticket to go to the Rose Bowl, and that thing's going to be, and it's not going to be full.
And that's the cheapest ticket there.
Yeah, but that was the most expensive ticket of the college football games was the UCLA. UCLA, and then the cheapest one I want to say was Indiana at Penn State.
They're paying people to go to that game.
Yeah. Well, I found interesting too is last night they were talking about which I don't think will happen, but the Nebraska sellout streak. There was over 2,000 available tickets still.
For today?
Yeah, for today's game.
Really?
But you know how the boosters and alumni, they buy those up and
yeah.
donate them. So
it'll get gobbled up.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No one's going to, especially when it's going to be a good game here against Purdue, and Nebraska's got a chance for, they don't have a chance for bowl eligibility yet, do they? They got one more game they got to win.
Yeah.
But they're on their way, and their defense looks really good. I think it looks really good. This weather suits Nebraska football. It's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for picks. We did not get Shane's in today. Probably
he'll send him in.
Say what?
I said he'll send him in. He's got
well, and if he doesn't, then technically we could catch up on him a little bit.
Oh yeah.
I think you're a little closer to catching up than I am. And did you pick everything I picked too? Do we have exact same picks for everything?
Well, what's going to set us apart is I took Wisconsin to cover,
Oh, that's right.
and then I took Indiana to cover. So
That's right.
in the spread part, that might bite me in the butt, but our money line picks are all the same.
All the same. Yep. Okay. I mean, do we talk about Michigan this show, or do we wait till the post game show? Wrap up show.
We can. I mean, I don't. We could talk. It's such a big boat. We could talk about the front. Just a little bit of it. I mean, I find it interesting.
Okay. All right.
I think it's
Here we go.
pretty great.
Update here for the Michigan sign stealing saga. You can see in this clip of the 2022.
And just for people that don't know what's going on, there is a huge ordeal going on in Michigan right now, and they're all, of course, there's a lot of Michigan alumni in the media, and they're downplaying it as best they can. But the stuff that's coming out right now about what they were doing, this is not Spygate 2.0, the Jim Harbaugh version, right? This is very different what they were doing than what
This
Bill
is
Belichick
hold my
was doing.
beer, Bill Belichick. Let me show you how to do
Yes,
it better.
Yes. This is elaborate.
Yeah.
And it all comes down to the Stallions guy.
Yep.
So what's going on is this guy wrote a 500-page manifesto when he was 16 about how he was going to run Michigan football. And it has been his life goal ever since to, eventually he wanted to become a head coach. But right now, what he has been doing is, I guess he served in the military and, did a bunch of other stuff.
I feel like that was a cover for this whole thing because I don't want to cut you off, but the stuff I've been hearing is, he's been buying these extra tickets for veterans that can't go to games, and which is a beautiful angle to use to cover your few gays. You know what I mean? Like, why not? Like,
and of course, your military buddies are going to be faithful to you. They're not going to snitch you out.
No, they go back. Oh, thank you for those tickets that I could have never went to.
Yes, and then there was instructions that came. With these tickets, and it was, you're going to be on the 40-yard line midway up. I need you just to zoom in on the coaches the entire game, if you don't mind.
To buy seats on the opposite side of the field too, at the same level and everything is just, I mean, what in the fuck?
I posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, that our conversation between you and Shane, Nebraska Husker fan versus Michigan fan, and Shane said that he thought that you should be thanking him for making sure you don't miss on your sellout legacy that's developing him.
Yeah, that's we don't need stallions to make sure that we keep our sellout streak alive.
So now it's not just that, but then they got a screenshot of the actual call signs.
Mm-hmm.
And so they turned those call signs from that research into a sheet and laminated that sheet. And then it was used by the head coaches. And you can see, oh man, there's a great clip where they're all on the sideline.
Yeah. Was it the defensive coordinator that had it?
And yes, yeah. And they're all watching this play come in on an audible. And then you see the entire sideline start pointing up. Yeah. They're like, that's a pass. It's a pass. Yeah. And I mean, everyone. You see everyone do it. So now, in the spirit of football, is this I hear talk about death penalty being used. And I think why it's being talked about is because now not only did Michigan have the call signs for everyone, but then they proceeded to sell them to other teams in the Big Ten so that they could take on a more favorable opponent. So they were selling this shit in the West.
Yeah.
So they were selling because they wanted to take on a more favorable opponent in the Big Ten championship.
Time. Yeah, and the championship. Yeah. Like, so I love this because this fits both of our podcasts. Like, this could be like a what is that when they take two shows and they time
Crossroads or
merge.
Like
this could be a crossover episode. All we just need is Devin we just need Mike. We need everybody to come in, because the conspiracy theory now going on in Tennessee is that Michigan sold this information to South Carolina to beat Tennessee because Michigan didn't want to play Tennessee in the playoff. They wanted to get them out of the way to play a more favorable opponent, and then gave it to them again to beat Clemson. And now Tennessee people are up there; they're hot, and it's just funny because like a lot of people are like, "Oh, give it to Tennessee to make it all about them." It didn't
I
even
mean,
start with
that's
them,
my
and now,
first initial reaction is like
yeah,
any team could use this. Like, they
yeah,
gave it to Texas to beat Alabama. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like, just all that type of stuff could be going.
But
And
it's
who
just
knows?
crazy.
They
Yeah.
were selling it to other teams, right? And I didn't hear about out of conference. But I definitely in conference they were selling that information. So wouldn't surprise me if they were doing that stuff out of conference too.
Because the way the conspiracy connects is the defensive coordinator for South Carolina was on Harbaugh's staff at Stanford, so they had a connection, and it was just like, hey, good buddy, I put
Now,
something in your mailbox.
no one can prove Harbaugh was involved in this, right? That's what's going on right now. There's
Yeah,
no actual
everything
proof.
is on Stallions,
You're
supposedly.
right. Right. So I hear people saying that it could be light as Stallions is suspended from, he made 55,000 a year just doing that. Like, God damn it. Should have gotten into coaching. Um, and so he's going to be suspended, and then what happens? No one knows. Like, do you
Just
let this
pisses me
play
off
out?
because Harbaugh's, if he comes out of this clean, it's just another fucking. It's just like this guy has been. I know the cheeseburger thing was what it was, but like this is not the first time Harbaugh has tried to get the advantage just to keep everybody off his butt. Like it's just, man, if this comes down to, he's got to go to the NFL, right? He's got to get out of there because this is more smoke that he doesn't want to handle. But
I mean, is the NCAA going to come that hard down on Michigan, a top tier earner for the entire NCAA? I
yeah,
mean, you know what I mean? Like,
they're in Michigan. Supposedly, the NCAA has been there. The FBI was in there for, I think, another reason due to
yeah,
the defensive coordinator finding stuff on his laptop that was naughty. Yeah,
really.
yeah. Yeah, they don't know. They don't know exactly. Like everything you read on Twitter is kind of vague on that,
Mm,
but
mm.
it's unfortunately it sounds like it could be, you know, just sick stuff that's going on in the world with children. But I hope not. But you never, So
I mean, when it comes to college and football, especially in these big conferences, these coaches are gods. Urban
yeah.
Meyer was a god in Ohio State. He was a god in Florida. Uh,
Utah
yep,
got
yep.
probably Bowling Green. I mean,
And same thing in Iowa. The media that's allowed to cover Iowa football is very select, and there is not room for any error in embarrassing the brand or the program in the state of Iowa. So, you can lose those press rights pretty freaking quick if the coaches deem it necessary.
that
So,
which is wild. Like I'm starting to see pro teams do that now. Is like even if you show like a stat that doesn't favor the team, they'll suspend you and be like, "You don't do that. No, no, no. Yeah, we sucked for 20 years, but don't you dare bring that up because right now we're winning." Like
it,
it's just facts. It's not like you're not throwing mud, but you
these
have
guys
to
are
be.
petty, though.
Yeah,
These owners are petty. The NCAA, these guys are petty as fuck. When you play Madden, I haven't played Madden in a year now, but I assume it's the same. Where if you play any game, in a career mode, the stadium is just jam packed full for exhibition. You know why that is?
yeah. I remember you telling me
The
a couple years
owner
ago.
of the Jacksonville Jaguars was at a Madden tournament years ago and saw this as a guy who played as the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the stadium wasn't full. And he got so upset he complained to the president of EA, and they had to change it so that every team's full all the time.
And that's when Madden was good. Remember, like if you sucked, your stadium was empty. Same with college football. Like when you got good, it got louder, it got
Yeah.
more people. Like that's what Madden in college football, those games were great because that was real life. Like now when you play Madden, it's the same thing. You're right, because I still play and it's like, like I'll blow the whole team up and draft nothing but rookies and we'll be 0-12 and it's packed like we're undefeated going to the Super Bowl. And it's like, this kind of sucks. Like I miss the days when there was bags over the characters' heads in the stands.
Yes,
and like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
You
Like,
got heckled for having a horrible schedule. It just
Yeah.
added to your fire a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and what a petty reason to take it off.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, it's amazing. It's it's really like it's amazing. So, and NCAA is the same way, and so it's sort of a tear here because, some people are saying death penalty for Michigan, and the reason it's a death penalty is because they sold it to other teams out of conference, in conference, to give themselves an advantage.
Yep.
Do you think it's death penalty worthy?
Yeah. I think if they got more pushback from the other coaches, I would think so. But multiple coaches have come out and said everybody tries to steal signs. Like it's just modern practice. I think if more people were like, "Oh, that's BS. You shouldn't do that," yada yada. I think it would be like for sure we got a death penalty. But with all
I
these
don't think it's
coaches,
stealing signs that's the NCAA is going to take issue with. It's the
it's selling
selling
intel. Yeah.
to other teams.
Yeah. No, that's death penalty worthy for sure. Yeah. If they can prove that and then you have to. You can't because you cannot let that slide. I don't care if it's Albany State. You cannot let that slide because I don't care. It's just you can't do that. You can't like
And by death
college.
penalty, I'm not talking SMU. I'm talking
Yeah.
about the updated version of the death penalty, which is Penn State.
Mhm.
Which is 4 years of disgrace, and then pretend like nothing ever happened again.
Lost the scholarships, bowl band, and then it all goes away, and then you just go on your tear. Yeah.
Well, no, that happened to SMU. Penn State lost scholarships for what, like a year?
Was it?
I mean, it wasn't anything. I mean, they called it a death penalty, but it wasn't a death penalty because Penn State, recovered after 2-3 years. I'll have to
Yeah.
look it up and see exactly what their punishment was for the whole Sandusky incident. But I mean, you got to do it I would think if you're selling this information, I don't
You
know.
got to come down hard. Like you have to. I mean, but here's the other crazy thing is like, you want to get all these guys prepared for the pros. Why are we not using smart technology in helmets and stuff? Like, why are we still using signs and signals in college? Like, I get the mystique and like not the mystique, but like
The
the
traditional
the traditional nostalgic kind of thing. But like, you want to get
quarterbacks
these.
have it now, though, right? Quarterback.
No. In
Thought
college, they
quarterback.
don't use any smart technology.
You know,
Everything's signaled in. That's why when you get a lot of these quarterbacks that go pro, that hearing that voice and trying to spit that out instead of looking at like a cheat sheet on the sideline and being like 42 cross XYZ, like instead it's coming in, and it's 18 times longer and it's quite the delay for these quarterbacks. Why not just do it? Just put the technology. You have it. You've
I don't
already got it
know. I
perfected.
mean, I feel like it's sort of like a baseball argument, right? Like, why doesn't baseball get earpieces in then when they're at bat or on first base? You know what I mean? Like, it's sort of old enough sport. Football, college football tradition is a different. It's not NFL football. Like it's. So I get. I guess the argument against it. I don't know, man. Like I don't know. I feel like I like it, and I like the idea of over a period of a game learning call signals, and figuring out what the other guys are doing, and then that sort of chess battle happening on a coaching level is sort of fun to watch. Now, I think and like you said, everyone's trying to steal signs.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not that hard. I don't
Yeah.
think that's really the big deal. I think the big deal is you're selling it to Minnesota to beat Iowa.
Yeah.
Are you selling it to you know?
Yeah, so you can get a favorable,
Yeah.
Big Ten. Um, my one of my favorite stories is that Mike Leach story, and I want to say when Mike Leach was at Texas Tech. I could have this wrong, but I think they were playing Oklahoma. He drew up like a fake game plan, fake script, and everything, and left it in the trash at the team hotel, knowing that someone would try to take it, and it was all fake, all BS. But he set it up where the formations matched what his sheet said, but it was completely the opposite thing. And he had come out and said, he's like, yeah, we lined up, and you could see them making adjustments and doing everything, but they had no idea we were doing something completely different. And he's like, that's when you knew everybody wants that edge. Everybody like there are some places where they tell you don't throw away your stuff in the trash. Take put everything we do team meetings wise, everything in your luggage. Don't leave it in the hotel. You know what I mean? Because people will try to get that information and use it against you. And but yeah, you
Well,
can't
and like
sell it. You
that's
can't
in
sell it
every
to,
yeah, you can't
yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like every sport has this facet of cheating to get an edge. And by cheating it's cheating on a not on a level of um uh, like okay, let's say the Astros how they cheated, right? With the camera. That's, I have a big problem with that because that's in game using electronics to get an edge,
Hmm.
you know, uh, cheating by, someone bringing you the playbook of the opposing team and trying to, is that cheating or is that you just, yeah, you got lucky. You got
Yeah.
lucky today. You know what I mean? And so, um, uh, that's completely, I feel like that's completely different. Like there was a Earnhardt Jr. episode I watched where Waltrip was saying like they'd fill their car full of BBs to meet weight. And then midway through the race, they'd unscrew a little thing in their A-frame and drop
Ah,
all their BBs off and just start flying down and because
yeah.
they didn't weigh the car
Yeah.
afterwards.
True. Yep.
And so you just didn't get caught. And so and he said he'd take walks with the owner of Daytona, get their morning walk in. He'd see all these BBs on the bank. He'd be like, where are these kids getting these BBs? You know, like never, picked on. Yeah.
Robin's racing, baby. That's the good old days too. Like that. Yeah.
Well, and that's what I feel like. Like when you like, there's a difference between that type of cheating, and maybe I'm parsing hairs here, but there's a difference between that type of cheating, good hard work, ingenuity, thinking it through, and then which I would have been okay with Michigan stealing signs all the way up to the point where they're giving it to other teams. That's the part that grinds my gears. Like why can't you just be content that you got this information? Why are you trying to pump up other teams and take away their hard work that they're trying to do? Like
Just to water it down, because that just tells me you're a fake ass team and you truly don't believe in your talent.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm okay with you stealing signs from
Yeah.
teams you're going to be playing.
Yeah.
But you don't believe you can beat the best of the West without
Yeah.
having to manipulate your way to who you're going to play. Like, oh dear God, we can beat we could definitely beat Wisconsin in the Big Ten West, but I don't want to go up against Minnesota. What?
Yeah.
You're gonna beat whoever you take on in the Big Ten West. Everyone knows this, including people in the Big Ten West.
That's why if this all does come out, I'm so glad TCU waxed that ass. Like, I'm so glad TCU just, you know what I mean? Because if this is true and Michigan tried like hell to pretty much line up their opponent that they wanted to play in the opening round and then just gets dismantled, TCU, I'm giving you BJ's behind 7-Eleven. That is good. Good for you. Like,
Well, and I mean, that makes me wonder about the Iowa program, like with Cade McNamara. He comes from that culture, so like, it'd be interesting. I wonder if he knew. I mean, he had to have. You saw all those players be like, they all knew the signal.
yeah.
So now that's defense. Maybe
Yeah.
offense was doing something. Offense, you're not really too worried about it. But you had to know in the back of your head.
I think the defense is the bigger part because if you know a pass is coming or if you know something, it's easier to shift the coverage on the back end and get ready. On offense, like, I don't know. I don't.
You're not really. Yeah, you may for certain coverages.
Yeah.
But on defense, that's gold material to have.
Yeah.
But what is Michigan afraid of? Is that
It
what
just tells me they're
Shiano
ready.
was talking about?
Yeah, I guarantee it.
There was something weird about how he wanted to go off the handle, but he just could not say what was in his mind. And that makes a lot of sense. And if you get enough coaches complaining about it, then
we should have shared that right off the bat because I mean, I'm sure multiple people clipped it, but when you recorded it, like,
I put it on TikTok. I did. Yeah.
I was just like,
day.
huh. And now they use that clip all the time. Like, that's the first clip you'll see is like Shiano knew something funny was going on, and he didn't like it. But like you said, it was almost like he didn't want to speak
There's
on
an
it.
unwritten rule here
Yeah.
going on that I don't know what it is. Is it like don't throw a stone lest a throne be thrown at you type of a deal? Are you afraid that if you try to go after Michigan, I can understand the fear of going after Michigan. I
Yeah.
get that. That's, Rutgers bitching about Michigan is, no one's going to take that too serious.
Yeah. But
But
you're right though. Like, you don't like you want to have your facts in because if you do throw a stone, one bigger one could come back
Yes.
and you might have skeletons in your closet that you don't want,
Shiano doesn't. He's too new in the program, which is maybe why he said something in the first place. Maybe he's just like, this is BS.
But
And
hell,
maybe
he's
the Big
been at
Ten-
Rutgers before. Like, he's not like, I don't know. I figured if someone was to do it, I figured Greg would be, hey, Michigan, you cheating bastards. Like, I didn't like it, but
Well, I mean, you saw the flack Ferentz got for saying that players flopped.
yeah.
Oh man, I mean, it was, how dare you, da 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 da. When we all know it was flopping, they instituted a rule for the flop because of it.
Yep.
So Big Ten things change, but man, they change slow, and the blue bloods will always be the blue bloods. And if the NCAA wants to take any type of control, now here's the problem: if they do institute a death penalty, doesn't mean anything because you can still play players. You just got to pay them.
Yeah.
You just can't have scholarships.
Yeah. And half the kids nowadays, if you're not in the playoffs, they don't play in the bowl games anyways. So it's like,
Do you think either way Harbaugh's gone after this year?
Probably, yeah. This is just too much smoke. I mean, yeah. I can't see him coming back.
I don't know what to make of it either. It's this battle between,
But it's right. It's crazy because, like, you might as well throw Michigan to the woodshed because the Big Ten next year, you're gonna have people to hang on to be like,
true.
oh, we don't we don't need Michigan to be relevant and to make media dollars because look who we're bringing in. You know what I mean? Like, so if we weren't bringing in those 4 teams, which I still think if we weren't bringing in those 4 teams, there's still enough tradition, nostalgia, blue bloods in the Big Ten where, you know, you don't have to jam Michigan down our throats, you know, like,
Yeah, but
you
the
know,
media feels they have to, and
yeah,
but that's a good point because they have slowly decreased the value of these Ohio States, Purdue, Penn State, and Michigan by bringing in these teams, and now they're especially if Michigan, does get a hard hit from this and punishment wise from the NCAA. The Big Ten can be like, hey, we've got USC to bring in money, UCLA will bring in bowl
Oregon,
money.
Washington.
Essentially, we're going to lose one team, but we're going to gain another team to be able to, play in the, or at least 2 or 3 playoff teams.
Yeah.
The Big Ten's going to have, I think, a strong representation in these playoff games.
Well,
Probably
and
more
that's the
than-
crazy thing too, because they like I know Michigan has had their moments, their peaks and valleys, but like for a while, like this was Ohio State's conference.
Yeah.
Like, and now they've slipped, and now it's take this Michigan, take it, all of it, all. And I'm just like, no, like, okay, they beat Ohio State the past couple of years, but I mean, like, to let them get away with this, what example are you set? I hate that the NCAA gets involved because they're a crooked ass organization to begin with, but I mean, something has
They like
be
to throw
done.
around their power though when they can.
Yeah.
They went after USC. They've gone after Ohio State. They have no problem going after these if they feel personally affronted.
Yeah.
And they're
Look
losing
what they're
control.
doing to James Madison. JMU. They like the whole JMU's undefeated, and they can't even play in a bowl game because of the NCAA's stupid rule about 2 years after coming up from FCS. You have to wait. You have to wait a period. And it's like they're going to win their conference. They're going to get a bowl. Like, they got a chance, but the NCAA, they just put their pressure and their power on stupid things when the big things they're just like, oh, that's a blue blood, we have to look over here, when that's where they need to be. That's where they need to be putting their power and leaving these other little ticky-tack issues alone. So
we'll see. I mean, they're losing power by the day as an officiating organization, and so eventually they're going to have to try to exert some power. Something. It may be one season of ineligibility. It may be the suspension of a coach or the firing of a coach, and just leave it at that. They could all be thrown on Stallions. This guy loves Michigan football so much. You don't think he'll take one for the team?
yeah, but like if you get rid of Stallions, that doesn't do. What is his
can
job?
say they did something though.
No, I know, but like he doesn't, like, besides what he's doing, like he doesn't really contribute. Like you fire like Harbaugh, they're just gonna plug somebody in. Like you almost like that staff. You have to just erase that staff to make it hurt, because then you've got to put in,
Well, and what did Harbaugh step down for the first 4 games? That self-imposed suspension. What did he do preseason?
It was that paying that or buying that recruit a hamburger. I think that was it. I think it was illegally buying a meal for a recruit.
If they're going to do, if they're going to allow that, then, I mean, you got to come down on them. You got to come
because the
down on them.
NCAA walked away from that, and then Michigan was like, "Oh no, we'll do it. We'll show good faith.
No, we got this.
Yeah, we'll
This
handle it
is
in
a
house.
family matter.
Yeah.
Buy him a hamburger. What do you want to do? I want to take the first 4 weeks off. You got it.
Yeah. Enjoy your vacation.
Yeah, love you, Jim. I'll just be back for Big Ten play.
Yeah. In the
Be
first game
interesting.
you come back, Shiano feels that there's some fugazi going on. He doesn't like it.
Nope, I like it though. We need outspoken because the Big Ten has been such a powerful keep your mouth shut conference for so long, and in some cases it has worked out well against the activist generation. It's protected from frivolous type things, but now it's also protected some pretty grotesque stuff. And so it's this day of reckoning for the Big Ten, and
especially for the state of Michigan, like they need a win. They can't be throwing Hitler on the scoreboard. They can't be having a coach do non-consensual sexting. Like, I mean, they can't Michigan. They can't afford another scandal.
And then you've got Detroit itself. Like that's Michigan, Detroit. Flint, you still don't have clean water in Flint. Like
we're
Michigan
still sending billions of dollars overseas, but Flint's got nasty water. Yeah.
Michigan needs a win, people.
Maybe that's what we changed this title to, is Michigan needs a win. Yeah. I mean, Jesus.
It's so true though, because oh man, I don't know what to make of it anymore. Fucking falling apart.
I hope Shane can get on. I hope we do a post game, because I'd love to hear
his take on
how
it.
dialed in he is on this.
Do you want to see the coolest play of the week?
Yep.
All right. Let's see, here we go.
Wow.
It's so many bad.
That's why you don't stop. You don't stop until the whistle.
It was at 3 1 interception and 2 fumbles.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, I thought you'd get a kick out of that. All right. Well, go forth and enjoy college football week 9. Good luck to Nebraska over there against Purdue in that cold weather. And screw Michigan, I guess, is the outtake of this game. So, sorry, Shane.
Trying to break contain. Martinez up the sideline. Still running. Look out. Taylor Martinez. What a run. He's got away. Martinez. Whoa. Taylor Martinez. Touchdown. Huskers. Play fake. Beckert sets up deep in the pocket. Goes down the field for Smith.
Has some time. One corner of the end zone. Touchdown!
Steps up, does it. Pass is caught. That'll move the 6. Tyrone Tracy.